there is so much overwhelming stuff happening. ये भी करना है, ये भी करना है, वो भी करना है. सबसे बड़ा issue life में लोगों के relationship issues ही है. Label is still, the baggage is still there. They think no, there is no baggage. Oh, I'm in a new relationship. Everything I'm gonna start my clean slate. No, and I felt something here and on my back. And I, bro, what it is? And I just saw and I literally saw a huge, beautiful box jellyfish.
Now that you have spent many years in IIT Roorkee, I'm sure you know about the club culture,
Yeah.
right? So what do you think about an EI club? How would it function?
Interesting. I think
And
this is
everything
going to be an interesting club.
Also a nice name.
Yeah, it can be. This is an interesting idea. Whoever thought, amazing. I think we need this. I'll give you the reason for that because I was sitting with one of the education experts in India and we were talking about कि Indian education system में क्या चीज missing है. So one is the financial literacy, one is the sex education, and third is the emotional intelligence. We don't know how to manage our emotions. We get at such a high positions, we earn a lot, we have a lot of stuff, but we don't know how to manage our emotions. And similar with the other two things which I told you. So these three things need to be included in a very proper format in Indian education system because no matter how skilled and talented you are, but if you are, scumbed by your emotions, then nobody can help you out, right? Maybe you're very intelligent, you know everything, but then when you're sad, you don't know how to work around it. When you're like taken away by a grief, you don't know how to work around it. Then what will happen, right? So I am very happy if you're thinking something like that to have an EI club because I think it's the need of the hour.
Yeah.
Already students, I feel very sorry you people go through a lot. There is so much overwhelming stuff happening. ये भी करना है, ये भी करना है, वो भी करना है. There's so much of things and then you feel numb or you get overwhelmed. इस line में दो चीजें होती हैं. You get numb, like your brain says, I don't want to feel anything. You get totally numb. On the other side, you get overwhelmed. In the overwhelmness, you get panic attacks or you get angry or you get shout at things or you have a lot of fear that you have a lot of anxieties about things. You start speaking fumbly or you maybe start walking swiftly or you do anything like that. So this is the scale. And what I feel is just because this is not changing, that the way the market is happening, internship processes, your exam processes, what do you want to do in life, whatever is happening, it's not going to change. So this is not changing. What we can change is how can we manage our skills to handle those things because that is inevitable. And it's not only you. I think we also went through the same phase. Your juniors will go through the same phase and I think it will get tougher only. And I think you people have much more challenging issues than us because there are a lot many distractions, a lot many things. So what I feel is that it's really important that we actually do something related to emotions or emotional intelligence, anything where you're talking about how you're managing emotions. And if you have a club around that, I think it's going to be amazing.
So talking about relationships in college, so people mostly get into IITs after cracking JEE.
Yeah.
And it's mostly a very dry period socially, I think, personally. So one thing that is very common in relationships that we can discuss about is emotional reliability. So, and in LDRs as well. So how do you think it plays a role in relation to emotional intelligence?
Okay. I'll tell you what, I do a lot of counselings and I find सबसे बड़ा issue life में लोगों के relationship issues ही है. Everything is revolving around it. And as I already mentioned you that we portray our real form not even to our parents but to our partners only. 99%. That is the case. And I think you are very young, but when you grow, you'll find what I'm saying much more corroborated in your life than what I'm trying to tell you right now. And having said that, I think relationships have two different issues, which I think everyone need to take care of. First is the trust issues. Okay. second is the commitment issues.
Yeah.
So you if ask a person who is going through a commitment issue, they'll be saying that I'm not able to commit because of the trust issues. And you ask the trust issue wala guy, why you have an issue? Because I have an issue of commitment issues. I'll tell you why both are related. So I feel most of the people, see, we all want to have good relationships eventually. Nobody want to have a bad life.
Yeah.
Everyone
True.
want a healthy life. But then what happens that we get hurt or we hurt somebody else? What happens? Something chaotic happens in between. And it's very important to actually acknowledge it. Why? Because I'll give you an example here. I was counseling this founder who is really elder to you, and I was trying to understand what's the problem. Okay, it took us some sessions, and later, you know what we realized? Uski pehli ex was the reason.
Oh my God.
Because of the validation issues, the
Oh.
fear of getting rejected. Right now, he's an amazing. He has got an amazing partner. Everything is fine. He's very true and honest to that person. He's told everything to her. That's not a problem. The problem is he has not resolved those issues within. Right? He feels that whatever the first relationship impacted him is the fear of having the rejection, people cheating on him. That's why he's had trust issues.
Yeah.
And he never resolved it. So there are two kind of people. The first, the people who have gone through something in their own life in the past and they did not resolve it. So the label is still, the baggage is still there. They think, no, there is no baggage. Oh, I'm in a new relationship. Everything, I'm going to start on a clean slate. No, it's okay. Yes, you have to start on a clean slate, but are you done with it? Personally, first you need to be healthy from within. We try to come from one relation to the other, because we have a fear of being lonely. We're scared, if I'm not able to chat with somebody, that how I felt, you feel scared. Where am I? Because one is the adat, one is the habit of talking to somebody, and second is the fear of not being around anybody with whom you can talk, right? And because of that, most of the people hop from one relationship to the other. They don't give space to themselves. They're who they are, what they want from themselves. And I totally understand, because there's a fear of being lonely. That fear eats all the other logical aspects. And then you find somebody, and it's okay. Even to do that, it's okay.
So I had a follow-up question. I saw this interview in which Katrina Kaif said that you can't burden someone with your emotional account in a way. So
Yes.
what is your take on that?
Beautiful question, though. By the way, I'm loving all the questions on Android. Amazing questions.
Thank you.
On the point, but very reasonable and a must to ask, I should say. Kudos to your team. What I feel is that as we were talking about the emotional building, I think that we all are doing it. So I'll tell you one example here, okay? So it's very important not to judge people around you or to stereotype people around. And we do that. The first reason is this only because the way we see things. But what you just mentioned is absolutely right. We're not supposed to do that. And I'll tell you, I also did it. There was a time when I did it. And it was not because in a relationship setup, but more like when you go out, like when you're traveling somewhere, people give you an idea कि ये लोग ऐसे होते हैं, ये लोग ऐसे होते हैं. So when I went to New York, I was being told, like 2017, okay, I was being told that, people here are very rude, you have to give them space when they walk and everything, and they'll eat you up if you're just taking even an inch of their time, right? But me, it was never like that. I was at Grand Central, this is being station, and I was just clicking pictures. That was the first time I was there. I was just clicking the pictures. And there was a lady who was just like she had 6 inch of heel, straight away from Manhattan, and she just stopped and she just looked at me. Do you want to take your picture? I'm like, what? She has that amount of time to talk to me. She took my pictures, and that was very kind gesture. And I'll tell you what happened after that, like in the coming years. I was living with my friend at that time. She was my school friend, and she used to tell me like, "Yahan jana, yahan mat jana, ye karna." So I used to travel through subways. So I had these cards, you just tap and you get in. And sometimes those cards don't work because unlike our metro system, which is really cool, that is a bit old system. So sometimes they are not working. And the moment you tap, there is a line, 10 people, duck, 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 because it's so busy. Aap thoda sa bhi rukte, there's so many people from behind. And I got scared, man, ka beta. Up to now, they will shout. That did not happen. There was a guy who just tapped his card and was like, ma'am, move. And I was like, whoa. And I asked him, like, excuse me, can I pay you? He said no. It was $2. It's not about the money, it's about the gesture.
Yeah.
And he said, welcome to New York. And he just went out. And this thing happened thrice with me. Then there was a woman who helped me out. She just tapped her card and she was like, it's all right, please move. And I was like, okay, like they value their time, but they also understand that looking at my face, a brown girl, like, that, oh, she's getting intimidated, so let me help her. And that made me realize, no, New Yorkers are not that. For me, New Yorkers are very kind, very loving, and sometimes you're just moving and they'll just compliment me. Hey, you're looking beautiful. I'm like, oh, you have time to look at me. So I was being told a very different story about it. But that wasn't for me. Everybody was so nice out there. And this made me realize that we don't need to stereotype things. And when you don't stereotype and when you don't have, when you don't judge people, half of the problems are solved.
That's true.
Because you come up with some definition. Like if I sit here and if I already have a definition of you two guys, I will have that perception. If I'm coming with a blank slate, like nothing on it, then you and I will come together and make a beautiful picture on it, right? Same is with relationships. Same is with anything in your life. And it's very difficult to do it. If you can make sure that you leave this concept of judging people, getting stereotyped and having those burdens and putting on the others. So because I am having that judgment, right? I am having that, like I am stereotyping something, and that is what I am putting you on. Like I'm putting that baggage on you. That, oh, I look at you like this. And then you get into that burden that, oh, I have to make her feel I'm not like this. Then the relationship goes haywire.
Okay, so circling back to emotions.
Yeah.
What do you think is the strongest human emotion? And like, is it the same for everyone? And like, or is it different? And also how to manage that very emotion?
You're asking for the strongest emotion. Okay, I think the strongest emotion, I mean, every emotion is very important, but I think fear has a very great role to play. I mean, sadness also, but fear makes you do things which you don't even realize you're supposed to do. Whether you get into substance abuse, addiction, it is not because you are happy to do it. The fear of losing that identity, or fear of not being part of groups, or fear of being alone, makes you do things which you don't even realize that you're doing. You are in wrong relationships because you have this fear that I'll be all alone. I'll not find a person in my life if I let this person go away, right? So fear plays a very important role, but if you channelize properly, you can use the fear to actually achieve your goals. That's what I feel. And I will give you one example here. So again, as I just mentioned, I was doing the scuba dive in Pacific. Do you know jellyfish?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was being stung by one of the jellyfish.
Oh.
Have you seen Friends? The Friends series?
Yeah, I have.
Please do. So if you have seen, there was, I will not explain exactly what, but there was a scene where the jellyfish came into me and they were giving some examples what to do when the jellyfish comes and like stings you. So I was on an island, taken on a cruise, and from there we went to a smaller island. From there we took another small boat, and we took another, like a remote island which was supposed to get closed at 5 o'clock in the evening. So I was just bathing and just enjoying the water, and I felt something here and on my back. And I, bro, what it is? And I just saw and I literally saw a huge, beautiful box jellyfish. Now, box jellyfish in the Pacific means almost death.
Oh.
And I was like, okay. And because there's a lot of processing happening. And I'm like, within few seconds, I'm thinking, I'm gonna die. What will happen next? Friends ने कुछ बोला था. I'm thinking Friends series. Like, वो myth था. I have to think, Discovery Channel पे क्या बोला था? Okay, I'm like, leave it. Go to somebody and ask for help. And the moment I got up and I was like, jellyfish, nobody knows English out there.
Oh.
Because that's a very remote. I was with people jinki language bhi same. I went there for some experience. I was like, or is experience ke liye aa tu. Now nobody will understand English and you will die. And I'm just running from one place to the other. Jellyfish. And nobody's there to help me out. And then one person, because I started having the stains on my hand, he got the idea. And he was like, die. No, I don't want to die. And then he put some lemon and he wants some citric stuff. So he had vinegar. We had no vinegar. We just put the lemon. And then I was being transported back to the cruise, which took another one hour. And I was like, now I'm... But in the midst of... I had this fear. So what I'm trying to tell you, fear makes you do a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
so
true.
I was acting obnoxiously weird. Very weird. Now if I recall, yeah, it was so weird. But I was doing that because I was feeling I'm going to die. And the worst part was like, Papa ko kya bolungi? If I die here, she will be like, kahan jaake, Pacific mein jaake, you have to get the body and everything. And I was just thinking, scuba mat kar. Everything is going in my head. And then I was like, no, I have to retain my fear and use this fear to get where I want to be. So I used almost all the resources, my actions and everything.
True.
Whatever like information my mind could get, I was using it just to sustain my life. And in the end, of course, I went to the cruise and they gave me some injections and everything, antihistamines and everything. Then I became the hero of the cruise. Like 200 people taking photos with me. Everyone, oh, this is the girl with this.
The chosen one.
It was very painful. It took me 5-6 days to get out. I could not sleep in the night as well. This was the back and everything. Even the chef of the cruise came to have a picture with me. Box jellyfish. So ultimately, I'll say I know how it feels to touch a box jellyfish now. But at that moment, fear, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Strongest emotion.
Yeah, and even you say, oh, you are an expert on emotions, but even at Cornell Lab, me and my professor, her name is Rose, and she says, people think that, oh, we know our emotion. That means we'll never get depressed. We'll never be anxious.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that. We also get anxious. We are also sad. And sometimes we're not able to manage our emotions. And I tell you, there was a time when I got 45 kgs because I was depressed. I was depressed like anything. Someone's death happened and I was really, really depressed. But interestingly, when people were asking for help, I was able to help. So the same question, if you're asking, I will answer. And I will make sure that you are okay. But the same question for myself, I have no answer. So what I'm trying to tell you is, again, maybe the fear, what I'm saying is the strongest emotion, but maybe for somebody it's love, for somebody it's happiness. It just is a matter of in which state of life you are in and what experiences you have. So you need to make sure that emotions should not be subjected to one particular formula. It can be different for you and different for you as well. But the ultimate thing is just acknowledge them and be it. Sometimes you can act weird and it's okay. It's okay to go through those negative and weird emotions. Just go through it and just own it. Real your weaknesses. Don't feel like, oh, I'm not supposed to say it because people will make fun of me or something like that. When the moment you own it,
True.
that fear goes away. That's
So related to emotions only. So I was thinking about this the other day. If hypothetically we live in a society wherein everyone is emotionally very, very intelligent, so do you think that society will perish because everyone is that emotionally intelligent, or it will sustain?
This is such a philosophical question, and whoever has written this question, kudos to that person. That person thinks out of the place. A beautiful question, though. What I feel is that everybody will have that high EI, it's a good thing. But that means everyone has taken one step above. So there is one more challenge above.
So it's all relative.
It is all relative. So what I'm trying to tell you, that brain, as in our human brain, it is evolving. As in consciousness is evolving. There might be a time when we'll have super consciousness. when all the consciousness will become one, everyone. Have you seen the movie Transcendence? If you have seen it, so it's more like the brain has much capacity which we are not using it, or maybe we don't have the means, like the physics and mathematics, even through a lot of like string theories and the quantum entanglement.
10% of our brain.
Yeah.
Dolphins.
Yes. Yes. So the thing is, like, the way we don't know about the cosmos, similarly we don't know about the brain. The brain has a lot of capacity. It may get into that super consciousness state, and it may look very alien thing, which I'm trying to tell you right now. But once it do, I think emotions will play a very strong role. And having said that, if everybody will attain a higher emotional intelligence, there'll be another challenge above it, because this is something which is very subjective. But having said that, if we'll have a super consciousness, I think we don't need to talk. We will feel each other. And once we feel each other, everything is okay. Because feeling is everything. Emotion is just a response. I felt the anger. Right? You felt the anger. The feeling is important. Emotion is anger. That is the stimuli response. That's it. But when you feel it, that is the most important thing. So if you and I are talking, and if you're just sitting, and if our brain is so evolved that we can just feel each other, that, oh, that person is feeling this. So you don't have to communicate through the words. So this is a very primitive way of communication. It may get evolved into something that we look each other and we communicate. Right.
That
so this
makes
is
sense.
Yeah, right. So this is something which is like coming up with a lot of theories in the philosophical way and with the neuroscientists. But what I feel is that it's going to take a lot of time for us humans to be there. But because limbic system is a very primitive brain, and it has been always there, and it is evolving. See, the evolution ka part kya hota hai? If the thing which is useless, the human body leaves it, and then it discards it and moves on. But emotions ko kabhi nahi choda. It stays. It's still there. So maybe emotions has a larger meaning. In terms of physics, maybe. I don't know whether I'm making sense to you or not, but when I talk to many physicists, and they get excited when I'm talking about this concept, that maybe emotions can be used as a means to understand other dimensions in the world which we are not able to perceive at the moment. There is some reason that it is getting part of the human evolution. It has not yet left human evolution. And we need it, because without it, we are not able to do other things. Why? Think about it. Why do we need these emotions? We need to survive, right? We can survive with our skill set. Why we need it? And why they are making us so happy? So maybe there is a bigger picture to it. Some people call it very dreamy, what I'm trying to tell you. But if you talk to a physicist, and I just sit with that, or a neuroscientist, they get very excited. Like, oh, yeah, we can think about this. This can happen in the future. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. Maybe in the coming another 1,000 years, humans will be very different with emotions, and emotions will be a means to understand the real reality, which we can't see at the moment. This is an inability of us to not to see the world, which we are supposed to see, actually. So yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, so coming back to IIT Roorkee,
Yeah.
how does it feel to be back, and what do you think has changed and what has not changed? Like, how do you feel about it?
So, first of all, thank you guys for inviting me for this. I was just crossing the white building. That is the place which I love the most. Just crossing that place, what crossed my mind? Because my mom, dad are also from IIT. And I was like looking at this building, I just thought, yaar, is white building mein has seen so many generations, so many love stories, so many breakups, so many heartbreaks, and it's still there. Like keeping all those secrets within, So I just personified the white building for a moment like a woman who knows all the secrets, And I mean, the things are same, man. Like sitting there, on the roads and eating something, or going around the places, going out for chapos, study with a bag and a chappal, going. The story is same. It's just that human figure, physical human figure is changing. But those identities of students are the same. The energy is same. So I talk with many friends who are from IIT, and we say this place has energy. This place has this energy which is like vibing so much. And the moment you go out, it goes away. Because everything happens here, stays here. Okay, so I'm really happy to be here and meeting you guys. I still feel like if I would have met any junior when I was in the campus, they were the same, like this only. You know, having those aspirations, those visions of doing things, and that excites me. I'm pretty sure IIT Roorkee is one of the finest institutes, that's for sure, and beautiful minds coming out from here. Just one thing I will try to tell you, and that was when I was back at Cornell. I was a judge at one of the conference, and there was this guy in second year in mechanical, and he was doing this, Higgs boson, the God's particle. He was working on that. Okay, so in CERN, so there's this, they use this instrument where this particle moves again and again, but it gets deaccelerated every time. And they were trying to solve this issue, that what was happening. My take was, bro, IIT Roorkee का second year का लड़का भी ये solve कर देता, बस we don't have this collaborations. I was very happy for that student because I was a judge and he did amazing, and I think he got the first prize as well. But looking at him, he was a very humble, black-colored boy. He was very sweet, very intelligent. But what I felt was, if the same is given, like at IIT Roorkee, we have amazing minds. And I think we're doing pretty well in the Bay Area as well. It's not like that. But I feel like at the institute, if the second year का mechanical का student को भी वो Higgs boson particle का वो problem दिया जाता, and that is why I took many interns from IIT Roorkee as well. Because I know here you have beautiful minds. Like, and I think एक चीज common है हम सब, पता है वो क्या है? जिद्दी है, करना है. अगर एक बार दिमाग में आ जाए, like we want to do this, then nobody can stop us. That is one common thing across batches, across years. I can see that in my parents, I can see that in me, I can see that in my juniors, and as well as in you. You're here doing this because you want to do it. And that gives, that's why I have a lot of reverence and respect for you guys. And this is the formula for sustaining life the way you do. And make sure you always have this zid of doing things.
It was lovely talking to you. Personally, I felt like I read a whole book in this one.
Okay. And I feel I'm back to IIT Roorkee talking to my juniors.
Glad.